All right, it's bird o'clock. Time for cookies and doodles with Mr. Dink. This episode is called Happy Trees. And we've got a sketchbook. We've got a couple pens, a couple markers. We just got a brown one and a green one. And we've got our cookies for after the project. So, this is my first time doing cookies and doodles with Mr. Dink on Instagram Live. I was doing videos on Facebook about a year ago. A little less than a year ago was the last one that I had. The last one I had was on a Friday, and on that Saturday, I suffered a stroke at work. Everything started going double in my vision. My hearing went double. Oops. Lost my phone. Let's see if I can rig it up here real quick. Sorry about that. Let me flip it back. Don't know, the band broke on this. So really experiencing some technical difficulties. I was trying to avoid a different kind of technical difficulty on my Facebook Live feed about a year ago. When I did these, I'm just going to hold it. Sorry about that. I'm going to hold it here for a second. Here we go. I'll figure this out better for the next time around. Let's see if that works. See if that holds. So I had a stroke, and I've taken about a year break from doing these. I've been doing my artwork since then. I've been doing doodles. Those of you who follow me on Instagram can see some of the doodles I did. The ones early on since the stroke. Really bad connection between my eye to hand to doing what I wanted to do. And it did look like something that a 4 or 5 year old would do, coloring in a coloring book. And so I kept up with the doodles and the sketching, and I've progressed. The stroke is better. As far as my recovery from the stroke, I still can't hear out this ear, and it feels like somebody is touching my eye all the time. My speech isn't affected, but sometimes I do notice I'm trying to struggle to find the right way to phrase something. And sometimes I hesitate in talking too. If somebody asks me a question too fast, and it's almost like a hiccup stutter type thing. But I am doing well. Usually, when I did these before, we would start here where we would hear the bird on the clock to know that it was time for these videos, and then we would walk outside in the sunshine to do these videos. But I'm a little paranoid about doing that, holding the camera, and as you can see, it fell off the thing already. So, but holding on to the camera and walking down 4 steps and not having a different video. So I thought we would stick to indoors for the time being and just make a nice little cleaner, more organized space to do it. So what we're going to be doing today is called Happy Trees, and I named this episode after what Bob Ross used to like to do. He used to like to make happy little trees. We're just going to use two marker colors. I'm going to be using green and brown. You can use green if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but I would suggest green and then a dark color. So I chose brown. You can use black if you want to, a gray. You can go crazy and use red and blue if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. You just go with it. But I decided to do these on Instagram for those that follow me because of the stroke and stroke recovery and seeing how I'm doing. So you could see me, hear me talking, see me interacting a little bit. If people join in, I may see it, I may not while I'm drawing. I'll try to vocally say hello to you if you join in, if I notice it in time. So we're going to get right to it. But, and again, stroke brain, getting back to why I want to do these on Instagram. This past week, I had a stroke support group, and one of the things I talked about and someone else talked about was doing artwork as a way to recapture what you've lost, being able to do something that you can still do, and you don't have to be a great artist to be able to do it. Things can still be abstract, and just go with it. Just go with what happens, and it's more not necessarily making a great masterpiece, but being able to say, hey, I controlled taking this medium and putting it on this medium. So that's what we're going to do. So let me flip this back around. We're going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to get in here to show you how we're going to do happy little trees. So we're going to start, I'm going to start with a brown pen. You start with a darker color, and those of you who followed my live feed on Facebook, we did some things called Zen Doodles a few times. One of them was riverbed. So this is the same concept as riverbed, but we're going to make trees. Riverbed, not riverbed. Stroke brain, sorry. But what I want you to do is, all you have to do is just take your pen, put it on the paper, and go up. Go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. And you want to do different heights and different sizes on these lines. How dark they are, how light they are, doesn't matter. Just the fact that you've made the marks. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back in, and we're going to start from about part of the way down on the tree, and we're going to make marks going diagonally like that off of this. Just like that. Make marks. Make a mark, make a mark, make a mark, and keep going. And I'm just taking the marker and I'm making quick swishes so that what it does is it starts thicker down here and goes to a point up here, because that's how branches come out. They start thicker and they grow thinner. So we've gone and done that. So we're going to go back in here, and on these that we made, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just go up, off of all of them. Just make them random. Doesn't matter if they're perfect like this one here. It just came off like that. That's how branches do. They just, plants tend to want to grow up toward the sunshine. I decided I wanted to do happy trees for my first one back because it's March now. Sun's coming out. It's been raining a lot here in where I'm at in Matthews, North Carolina. And even though I'd like to be out in the sunshine doing these, I felt more confident doing them on the inside. So we've just gone in and made random little strokes. Then we're going to go in on those smaller ones that we did, and we're going to, just lighter, we're just going to draw little lines coming off of them. This is more of that hand-eye control that I was talking about. As I was down here, I was still pressing it too hard as my brain was having a hard time telling my hand, don't go so hard. But I'm just going with it. I don't care that it didn't go out like I planned. Because again, this is in honor of Bob Ross, which that philosophy of there are no mistakes, there's just happy little accidents has been kind of a nice little thing going on, thought going on in my head in this recovery. You want some of them short, we're making some of them long. Not doing anything spectacular. We're just, as you can see, as we progress, it's looking more and more like branches and twigs coming out from them. And they're going pretty good. Nothing spectacular, nothing fancy. And we're gonna just go in here on top of these little tiny ones that we made, and we're just making little tiny V's is what we're doing. A little tiny little V. Anybody can do this. My little ones, my doodle bugs can do this. And as we discussed in the support group, this week, this is a nice way to meditate and just kind of get control back of what you feel like you've lost. Because I feel like that sometimes, like I don't have control over things like I did before. Things don't cooperate like I want them to. But doing this, I can just let the control happen. And at the end, I've got something I can look at and I can show other people, and they look at it and they go, oh, that's a great piece of art. Well, art is more interpretive than an action. And it is art to me because I enjoy doing it. But it's not taking a lot of skill. It's just something that I'm just randomly doing. And making little tiny V's on top of there, on top of those tips. Doesn't matter if they're touching or not. All the way. Because again, it's just kind of going with it. I'm going to stoop down a little bit because that's bending over like that is a little hard on my back. Doesn't matter that they're not straight lines or they are straight lines. It's just the fact that you're making them. Because branches do like that. They curve and they twist and they do things. And I'm just going to take my pen and maybe add a couple more random lines like that. Just because I want to. And before we pull out the green, I'm just going to take the brown marker again, and I'm just going to make it a little bit darker right here on these trunks. And as I go down, I'm just trying to make it a little bit thicker. And as you can see, the browns are lighter, and it's like the light's catching it. And that's how it goes. Now I'm going to take the green marker and do the same thing. I'm looking at my screen just to see how my progress is going. Looks like we've been joined by a couple more. I want to say hello and I love you to my beautiful niece Molly, and welcome along bird song for this little adventure. We're going to take the green and we're just going to start making, just touching it on those tips that we made, those little V's. And what it's doing is it's just adding what it's doing is it's adding leaves, because when you look at trees off in the distance, you don't see the detail of the leaves all the way. You just see the green. And wanted to call this one Happy Little Trees because some of the trees are starting to get these little tiny little green little sprouts on them now. And can't be anything but happy because they're starting to sprout leaves again, and things are warming up. We can go outside and sit, and everybody's been locked up for so long this past year, and in the winter, and especially here in this region, it's been raining so much. It's been really difficult with all the rain being stuck inside all the time, and it can kind of get to you. And you know, this is a nice little exercise on a rainy day to kind of imagine that, hey, I'm outside, I'm enjoying things, I'm doing things, and I'm enjoying what nature is giving to me. As you can see, as I get more and more into the middle of the page, you can start seeing that these little green little dots that I'm just making at the tips of the branches no great skill, no great technique, just no secret weapon, just, to borrow Bob Ross's phrase, just happy little leaves just sprouting off these tips because we've had so much rain. It's sunny and sun's out and it's warming up, and the leaves are starting to reach up to the sun, just like we all want to do from time to time, and just feel the warmth on us, and it feels good. You can't do anything but smile when it's this time of year. For some of you who maybe follow me on Instagram or see my feeds because of the stroke and the stroke recovery and the stroke awareness, like I said, this is something that you can do and you feel like you have a little bit of control over things again. You can, in the randomness and the abstract of things that are, comes what a friend of mine used to call controlled chaos. And you get done with something like this and you sign it and you smile, you look at it, maybe your friends, your family, you show it to them and they go, wow, that's really good. You are so talented. And it's like, it doesn't take talent. It just takes just having your feelings and just, and there it is. And that's as easy as it is. Like Bob Ross said, happy little trees and happy little accidents. I'm going to just take my brown and I'm just going to, just because I want to, I'm going to just trace a dark color on the right side of those bigger branches and bigger trunks. Connect some of them that I didn't connect before when I was doing it, so that it comes off like that. And that's happy little trees. And it's not something that takes any skill. It's just making random lines. We just made random lines like this with our marker, and then we just came off of it like that, and then we just came back in and did green little dots, and it's as simple as that. And we have happy little trees for our happy little sunny day that's happening. I'll hold it up a little bit closer so you can see it. We did it in 2 colors, nothing fancy. I'm gonna flip this back around real quick so you can see me, still know that I'm doing okay. I'm gonna step out of the camera for just a second. See who else has joined. I see my wonderful mother has joined in on this, who I love a lot. I love you, Mom. Wish I could give all you guys a hug. I see my sister-in-law has joined in, and Joe Holt comes back and says, I wish I could draw like that. Keep it up, bro. Well, you can draw like that, Joe. There's not a lot of practice. These are just doodles and sketches. It's not high art. I'm not sitting here wanting to put something like this into an art gallery. I'm doing it for me, just for my relaxation and my enjoyment. I'm going to do more of these. I will tell you next week, we're going to do Happy Trees Part 2. We're going to do the same thing, but as a heads up, I want you to use that dark color, and we're going to use a lighter color, like maybe a pink, and then we're going to get a third color in. We're going to do some purple. We're going to do something a little bit different for Happy Little Trees. I'm looking at the clock. I see this is the amount of time that I wanted to do. But next week's episode will be on Wednesday. Pretty much, well, I think all episodes will be on Wednesday, but stay connected to this to see when the next episodes are. Until then, be sure and eat your cookie when you're done with your artwork. That's Happy Little Trees. I'm really glad to be back and doing these and sharing these and letting people see my face and hear my voice and seeing me talk and knowing that I'm doing okay. Like I said, the only thing I'm having, it seems like from time to time, is like a little brain hiccup where I just kind of catch my thoughts and stall for just a second, and there's like a little bit of a what I call a hiccup stutter that happens. But other than that, I'm fine. Be sure and try to do these in your off time. Just get you a sketchbook. If there's a request that you want, a project that you want me to do, send me a message, put it in the comments, let me know how you feel, and I'll try to do what I can do. Until then, that's Cookies and Doodles with Mr. Dink. Until next time, see you later. Be sure and have your cookie. Good.